Welcome, everybody. This is Focal Impaired Awareness Seizures, Episode 2. And this is our second video for the Focal Seizures group. So, yeah. So, here's the agenda. We'll start off with background information, then we'll go to causes, then symptoms, then avoidance and answer. Same thing as last episode. And yeah, we'll start. So, for the background information, so these are one of the most misunderstood seizure types because the person might look awake, but mentally they're not fully present. So this is where seizures become they just stop becoming subtle and start becoming more risky, especially in public or everyday situations. So let's break this down. A focal impaired awareness seizure starts in one specific area of the brain, just like a focal aware seizure, but the key difference is awareness. During this seizure, the brain temporarily loses its ability to process what's happening, but the person isn't unconscious. But they're also just not really there. It's a little bit more complicated. So these seizures used to be called complex partial seizures, but doctors changed the name because it actually describes what's happening better. It's focal, which means one area, and aware is impaired. So simple but serious. Uh, Most of these seizures start in the temporal lobe, which handles memory, emotions, and understanding of the world around us. But that's why people might act confused, emotional, or repetitive during the seizure. Sometimes they start in the frontal lobe, which controls behavior and movement, and that's when seizures can look more purposeful, like walking or talking, but without awareness. So now for the causes, there isn't one single cause. Many people have epilepsy, but others develop these seizures after head injuries, brain infections, strokes, tumors, just everything that's like massive list. And basically anything that disrupts the brain's normal electrical pathways can create a spot where seizures repeatedly start. Now this is also super important. Triggers, because these triggers don't cause the seizures, but they can really these are like the startup. These start the seizures, but these don't like straight up cause them. Like the bigger cause would be the ones above, but these triggers, these are like the on button for like a light switch. So triggers are like the on button, causes are like the actual programming and everything. And so this is important here. Triggers don't cause the seizures, but they can trigger one if someone already has epilepsy. So sleep deprivation is a huge one. Stress is another. Alcohol, illness, and skipping medications are basically invitations for the brain to misfire. Knowing your triggers gives you more control over if you're gonna have uh, another seizure or not. It'll give you more control over the frequency, especially. Now, for symptoms. So, during a focal impaired awareness seizure, a person might stare into space and not respond when spoken to. You can say their name, wave your hand, nothing. You'll just get nothing basically. So, they might look awake, but their awareness is just offline. That's one of the biggest dangers because people assume they're okay. One hallmark of these seizures is something called automatisms. Uh, These are just repetitive, unconscious actions like lip smacking, chewing, rubbing hands, or picking at clothes. So the body is moving, but there's no conscious control. It's the brain running background processes without supervision. So most focal impaired awareness seizures last between 1 and 3 minutes, so 1 to 3 minutes, and but the seizures doesn't just end when the movement stops. So afterward, the person may be confused, exhausted, or emotional. They don't often remember the seizure at all, which can be scary when they realize time is missing. So people usually don't remember what's happening during the seizure. They might come out, they might come out of it and ask, why is everyone staring at me? That moment can be like super embarrassing and frightening, especially in public. How people respond around them really, really matters in this situation. So in some cases, focal impaired awareness seizures can spread across the brain and turn into full tonic-clonic seizures. So these are different types of seizures itself, but this is like an evolved version, like a stage two type of seizure. So this is focal to bilateral tonic-clonic seizure. We will go over this in the next episode, but for now, just know that this type of seizure is able to evolve. So this is why recognizing and managing focal seizures early is super duper important. They're not harmless just because they're less dramatic. Now for awareness and answer, avoidance and answer. Treatment usually starts with the anti-seizure medication taken consistently. Lifestyle matters too. So sleep, stress, and avoiding triggers, those three matters a lot when it comes to avoiding these type of seizures. So for people whose seizures don't respond to medications, options like surgery or neurostimulation can dramatically improve quality of life. But these things are like you need these are more complicated solutions. So you probably want to consult with a doctor or your neurologist for this option to even be like available. But yeah, just make sure you talk to your doctor, talk to your neurologist if you want to look at these different types of options. And yeah, so if you see someone having these type of seizures, do not restrain them and do not panic. Gently guide them away from danger, like stairs or traffic, and stay with them. When they recover, explain what happened calmly. They're not ignoring you, they literally weren't aware. If a seizure lasts more than 5 minutes, or if it happens back to back or results in an injury, that's medical emergency. You better call them right now. Otherwise, there might be some like severe harm that might come to the person experiencing the seizure itself. You should call for help immediately if these things happen. And yeah, so this is it for episode 2. I still have one more thing to talk about in the next slide, but this is it for the this type of seizure, focal impaired seizures. And yeah, next slide. So how can you use this app? Our app helps users log seizures, what they look like, how long they lasted, and what might have triggered them. Over time, patterns emerge that doctors can actually use. It's also it also includes a medication manager because missed doses are one of the biggest seizure triggers. Reminders help keep the brain stable so that you can avoid these seizures a little and reduce the frequency of these seizures as well. So using AI, the app can analyze seizure patterns and triggers, and it helps users predict risk periods and make smarter daily decisions. Finally, there's the community forum. Because epilepsy can feel isolating, connecting with people who understand and make a huge difference. Sorry, connecting with people who understand can make a huge difference in the people experiencing these seizures because you can ask questions, connect with others, share experiences. It makes it more, you're basically coming out. It makes it more easy for the person to accept that they have the seizures and accept that who they are as an identity itself. So focal impaired awareness seizures remind us that not all seizures look the same and not all dangers are obvious. Education, awareness, and the right tools like this app right here can change lives. So that is it for today. That's the end of episode 2 right here. Thank you and have a nice day.